Okay, gonna do a tier list now that it's over. Unfortunately, the tier lists aren't complete as I don't have the new things from the new patch, which is unfortunate, but I can do with what is still here. They also didn't update the website with all the new passives, so I can't really reference them, but I can tell you what they are. Um, yeah, I played the playtest for about 65 hours. What was it? Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, 64.6 hours. I was GM5, pretty sure the only GM5 in the game. I got it about 48 hours in, I think. So here is, I also mainly trio queued, so do keep in mind my tier list is for the explicit use of trio versus trio, good team versus good team, not just like solo queue, no hours and gameplay. Okay, so first off, I just wanted to say that this everyone's pretty damn good compared to before. Most people, this is actually the game's balance is pretty damn good as before. I'm clearly gonna put Shaman here. I don't think he's OP, which may like be suggested by putting him here. The reason why I'm putting him in his own class is because uh he can create he is pretty much good on every single team. There's no team that's not better off without a shaman. And because of that, I am going to put him in his own class because if you're a must pick, which is what this is, honestly, if you are a must pick, you should have your own class. I don't think anyone else is a must pick because I can see comps without every single one of these characters. So I think he's his own class simply because he's just really good. And the main reason for that, for being really good for Shaman, is that one, his passive, which again is not showing on the website, but I'll just tell you, his passive is his melee now does a free imbue on any buildings, and this will give you a heal. This is really strong with coordinated play because the health regen currently is really fucking low compared to what it was before. And because of that, him being able to create what's essentially health stations, these health stations are going to be where you just put 3 or 4 buildings near each other. Usually like 2 buildings you'll put next to your tower, and then you can just heal from there. It gives you such an increased tempo where you can just keep going and going and going and going. And if someone doesn't have Shaman, they just can't do that. You're just going to be perma full health, and you'll eventually just kill someone. Like, so his ability to passively heal every single lane, every single character, while also still having buildings that do building things, is just really good. He also has a really good melee that staggers. He is the best 1v1 character in close range by far. He's also really good in the Nordic map because he can pressure people a lot easier because the map's a lot closer. And the jungle is a lot more like cornered. All of them are like cornered areas. And because of this, he can pressure the jungler really easily. Okay, so next up, I'm gonna go with just the rest of them. I'm gonna put up Scribe. Scribe, I don't think she's quite a must pick because if you have Shaman, you don't necessarily need the Scribe healing. Mainly the main thing that Scribe does is she gets to heal your team. So again, because health is low now, health regen's low, sorry. This is really important. And the other important thing is her ult is crazy. Her ult is, it's really good for winning just trades at a lifestone where you have your whole team's your whole team strategy is essentially to try and get a Juggernaut or a Titan to the enemy lifestone, then put down a Scribe ult, and then they just never die, and they'll just take that lifestone for free. So honestly, she is kind of a heal bot, but also she has really good team play of calming to your team. Hey, I'm low, I'm coming in hot, come heal me, Scribe, and then they'll just go to the feet of their Scribe, and their Scribe will heal them. So she's really good for that, but I can see where she would be picked. Sorry, where she would not be picked. So again, she's really good, but not necessarily a must-have. Next up, I'm gonna say Monk. Pretty similar. I think she's currently the best duelist. I think she is the best duelist. I debate putting her into a must-have. I'm actually gonna put that here. must pick, 'cause it's not just because it's Shaman. Um, I debate. I really do debate putting her into a must pick because I think she's the best duelist. I do genuinely think that because she can, because the way that the towers are now and the life zones are now, it's really hard to pressure someone. Because if you hit them when they're in their life stone or their tower, they will immediately shoot back a fireball, and it does a shit ton of damage. But her dash lasts forever, so you can kind of get in that life zone. You can secure so many kills that you just couldn't do with anyone else. So I do really, she's nearly must pick. I'm debating. I'm gonna put her there, must pick. I think she is best in slot. You really should have her on a team. I think your team should be some variation of these two and then one of these four. I think these two are just the best at what they do. He's a good pressure, he's a good utility, he's just really good, and this is just the best DPS. The only thing really keeping her back is her ult is really useless. I don't want to say completely useless, but when you compare it to like Shaman's ult, who can, you know, do a lot of damage to a Titan, plus close off a lane. Scribe ult, which can insta win a lifestone or mini pushes. Witch's ult, which can just delete things and, win 1v1s. Even Iron Sorcerer's ult's kind of crazy for wiping out a whole lane. And the Fire Elemental's for backcapping. Hers is definitely the weakest ult, but I think her recharging her Nova quickly and her getting her spell back on kill is actually really good when you play with Fireball. But most importantly, it's really just her dash. She can secure so many kills and not get pressured as easily. Next up, I would say I'd put Fire Elementalist here. I think one, the back half is really important. You like have to save a banner for it or be very cognizant. I can't word today. Be very mindful of where he is late into the game because he could just backcap and like fuck up your whole game. But one of the main things is he can play kind of like there are still deer in the game because he can just keep hitting things because the new passive, they removed the extra damage on fire, but they gave him healing on hit when the enemy's burning. And because of this, he can kind of just clear all like tier 1, tier 2, and even some tier 3 waves by himself. Like even while being attacked by an enemy player or even the minions themselves, he can just clear the whole wave. So he is the ultimate early game shutdown. He just destroys everything that's not a tier 4. So he's really, really good at doing that. The only reason why, of course, I don't put him higher is because at the end of the day, one, his ult frequency is really low. He doesn't get many of them. And also, tier 1s and tier 2s kind of fall out of use and, general meta simply because of the fact that tier 4s are so strong and you can kind of just like delete them late game anyways. The tier 1s and tier 2s, I mean. So he's really, really good early game, mid game. It's a really good tempo, gives you a really good early lead. So I think he's still like really, really good. He's just not quite must pick, but he's good. The next two, I am gonna put them both at A as a little spoiler. I think Witch falls behind because she's essentially an ult bot right now. The only good thing about her really is her ult is really good. And this ult actually has a main downside now. So the ult increases their damage, it's double, and they have an increased like their projectiles are bigger. Which sounds really nice, and it is, it's really good. The issue in this game, uh just for reference, nearly every time I've killed the witch, it's during their ult. They get their ult so often. The issue is, with your ult, you have to essentially throw hands or it's useless. But in this game, it's really easy to just like fuck off. Like you can just run away forever and never get hit if you really want to. And because of that, when witch ults, you know she wants to throw hands, so that's when you know you can kill her. Nearly every time that a witch ult, I will like instantly say, contest witch, or I'm a convergent witch, I'm a gank witch, we're gonna kill witch, something along those lines of let's kill her. And every time it works because the witch wants to throw hands with her ult, and because of that, she's gonna cast and she's gonna be slowed down, which means I can just double fireball her and delete her. So that's the main reason why I rate her. I would honestly even maybe put her into B, simply because She's only good in her ult, and her ult kind of kills her. Next up, Iron Sorcerer. I don't think incredibly highly of Iron Sorcerer. Um, her clear is also really awful, which keeps her back. Her clear is the worst in the game by far. With Iron Sorcerer, I think his ult's really good, and ults are really important in this game. I don't think his passives are that great, and being a building focus while Earthquake is really meta isn't that great right now. So I think that's a really big issue. Is that I want to rate him higher because of his ult, but I think he just has a main issue of his passives are helping your buildings be stronger. I don't think buildings are quite there yet because of how strong Earthquake is. So I'm probably gonna keep him at B. I think he's nearly A, but I'll keep him at B. Just a quick overview. Hey, this is an edit because I originally posted this when there were only the old ones and there weren't the new ones. So new ones have been added, so I'm just gonna edit my old video. So here's my new list. So we have Nova, S. This S tier is going to be must pick plus broken. A is just must pick, just for future reference. Must pick and broken. And yeah, so these two are must picks and broken, simply because you need Nova to kill Titans. There is no other spell in this entire list that can even attempt to kill a Titan. It is only Nova. You should always at least have one player with Nova or you're trolling. Earthquake is also really good because at level 5, even maybe level 6, it can just destroy towers for the entire rest of the game. The enemy team should never have a tower up for like the rest of the game as long as your team has an Earthquake spell. Not to mention, destroying buildings in one shots. It is very strong. Your team should always have at least one of each of these spells. Next up, these are must picks, the A's. These are must picks, but not broken. That if you're playing a specific character, you should always pick these. Fireball and Astral Shot are the only PvP spells, like the only real PvP spells. If you want to play a PvP style, you have to pick one of these. I think the main thing that Fireball has over Astral Shot is that simply later on in the game when people are better and later on into like everyone's leveled up and all that, it's pretty hard to actually kill someone because someone can have like 6 dashes or 6 defenses or whatever and a decent amount of health and all that. So pretty much the only time you're ever going to be able to kill someone realistically is if they're doing something, which Fireball will interrupt that, and it can get that guaranteed hit off of, or they don't know you're there. The sustained damage from Astral Shot is kind of meh, because you really just want to get that one off and then just finish them in melee. And because of that, I will put Fireball a little bit above Astral Shot. The only thing that Astral Shot does a little better is baiting out those dashes. But honestly, people have like 8 dashes. It's not 8, it's like 4 to 6 dashes. But it's just much better to try and get that one shot off of with Fireball. And then Heal Ray. Also, you can do a decent amount of tiny damage with Fireball. Heal Rage is really good in Scribe. It heals her team, heals the Titans, heals the Jugs. Generally, how you're going to be using it is to heal your team up, to keep them all up from... Oh, hey, the Am I Gay test is back. For the record, on my previous one, the Am I Gay test was not there, but it is now. It's trying to tell me something. Anyways, the heal is mandatory in Scribe, and as I said before, Scribe is just really good. You should always pick, not always pick, but generally she's a really good pick. If you're playing Scribe, you have to play this. She will heal her team up so they can keep tempo, and heal the Titans and the Jugs so they just never fucking die. Next up, pretty much everyone else is pretty damn bad, if I'm being honest. First up, I'm gonna go with Resurrection, straight doo-doo F tier. This is awful. You're taking a tier 4 spell, you have to justify it over taking Astral Nova, and you just cannot do that. In no situation is Resurrection better than Nova. It's very, 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 very situational. You will only have like a few situations the entire game you can ever use this. And those situations don't outweigh. Like pretty much it's gonna be you're at the enemy's Titan, sorry, their Lifestone, and you're trying to like push, and they do like an Iron Sorcerer ult, and you do this, so they survive. But that's very rare. The amount of times you're gonna use Nova is astronomically higher. Uh, so this is just really bad because you're just never gonna use it. Next up, Fire Rain. Again, you have to justify using over Nova. It doesn't really kill large groups like you'd want it to, and it doesn't have single targets. So I want to put it F because again, I would never use it, but I think maybe if you stack like 3 Fire Rains on top of each other, then maybe it's decent. Lightning F. I'll put a D again because there's some use cases, some very few. It's not straight trash, like you're legit throwing, but you probably are throwing. It doesn't do enough damage anymore to actually kill like jugs. So the only thing it does is kill tier 3 shielders, but you can already kill them. You're using a tier 4 spell to kill tier 3 units, which is really inefficient. And you can kill shield units really easy now. So just the current meta, this just isn't really good. Frost Infusions, actually not that bad. You get the Frost Infusion, this is the only way to get it, so it's honestly not that bad. It used to be OP, 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 because it was bugged, but it's still kind of decent. Bad, I'd never pick this. I honestly normally wouldn't pick this either. There's only a few builds this works on, but this is very situational, kind of meh. Uh, yeah. Yeah, that sucks. This also sucks. Sacrifice is just inefficient, does nothing, waste of a slot. Same with fire. Thunder has very few use cases. Sometimes it's decent for like try and make some harpy XP farms, but I would not normally pick it. These are going to be your bread and butter. You should always be picking these. Situationally, I could see you picking these, and you should pretty much never pick D and F. It's pretty much never a situation these are good. To the units. So first off, Jug, it is the only tier 4 unit in the game, and it's pretty damn good at what it does. It's really strong early to mid game if you build for it to get it within like the first 5 minutes. It's really strong within those 5 minutes, so you can get a good early lead. And then it's the only unit that's actually like semi-survivable late game. So another reason why it's really good. But its main use is the early game pressure. Sorry, the mid game pressure. Next up, I'm gonna put Wall, complete trash. The most worthless thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It gets you no XP, it's an entire waste of a slot. It doesn't even count for like the minimum, if you could use this instead of a summon, that'd be nice, but no, it's awful. It does nothing, it gets broken, it gets destroyed by earthquake, it's literally useless. It is the worst thing in the, not the worst. I think sacrifice is the worst. This might be worse than sacrifice actually. It's bad. It's real bad. Um, A for the wolves. They're pretty damn good. They're a really good tier 2 unit. Really good range, really good damage, really good tracking. If you stand still for a second on these guys, they will fucking delete you. These are really good. Put the same with Rocketeers. They do similar things, to just a little less HP, a little closer range. But they take a tier 2, so I think these are pretty tied, to be honest. Archer, I'd say B. It's kind of just a worse version of Rocketeer. Um, I think the building's actually kind of decent, to be honest. The building's decent than the tower, but Earthquake is just god tier, so it's kind of meh. Um, I'll say Ballista is pretty good because good damage. It prevents people from just like walking up on you in your tower. And it's more efficient than the Earthquake because the Earthquake will destroy everything, but then the Ballista will come back on a faster cooldown, so you can still keep them going with your Shaman like heal builds. So it still has a good place. I think the unit itself is B, but because of its synergy with Shaman, I'm actually gonna put it in A, just because of how well it works with the best character in the game. Next up, this is another issue. I would honestly put Harpies if there wasn't Earthquake. I'd put it like A with Monk. But because of Earthquake, I really have to put it like lower, maybe even C, like really low B, just because with Shaman and Earthquake, it just kind of gets bullied. You're just a worse version. Shielders are decent. They've taken a lot of hit now that they cannot survive anywhere near as much as they could before. Ogre's Pressure is really good. They do a lot of damage. Um, Pretty simple. They die pretty late game. Sorry, pretty easily late game, but they're still pretty decent. I think I put you in the top of B. And then I'd say I like this. I think some people are going to disagree with what I'm about to put here. I think these two units are really similar. I think I've only ever like felt pressured by this one, not so much this one, to be honest. The only reason I'd think of swapping them is because this one's the Behemoth's the Scribe's passive works with Behemoth. So it might make it, yeah, I think I'll swap it. Just because the Scribe passive works off of this one, so it's just a little bit better. Sorry, the Elementalist. Undecided. I do think this is a better unit though, so yeah, I'm gonna put it there. Dryad, kind of meh. It's decent with some builds. It's just not really something you want to focus on. And good coordinated team play, you have enough healing from Shaman or Scribe. You don't really need Dryad. Lich. I still think I can see in a world where this is good, but I just haven't played a game where I felt like it was good. Spider. Spiders are pretty good. The main reason for Lich, by the way, is the slow is really good. The damage increase is also decent, but it's just not quite enough yet that I've seen. Spider used to be good because it would suicide bomb towers, but towers now are like no longer a thing because of Earthquake. So just because of Earthquake hard meta, this you don't really need these anymore. Skeleton's pretty good at their job. I wouldn't normally pick them though, so yeah, I think I would put them C. Wyverns, I'd rather just play Harpies. Harpies will give you more XP. We can put that over here. Put Harpies. Probably here. I think the fairies are actually sleeper. They're pretty decent at the damage they deal because they don't get targeted. I've noticed Titans don't target them, and a lot of other things also don't target them. And because of that, they can kind of just survive in a corner and just start beating the shit out of things without anyone hitting them. So it's actually pretty good at that. I've seen it deal a lot of damage to a Titan. Um, I would not ever pick this if I wasn't forced to pick a tier 2 unit. Because I'm forced to pick a tier 1 or tier 2 unit, I'll put it at the top of C. I don't think they're that great though. They've extra survivability. They're not that good at being tank. They're just kind of there and they die a bit slower, so they slow you down a little bit, so that's nice. But they're slow to cap points, and generally with a lot of builds, you only want to have one tier 1 or one tier 2. You can't really just have this. You can just have an archer. You can just have a rocketeer. You can just have a harpy and archer. So I think you're forced to have two summons if you have this, and two summons is kind of inefficient because normally you want a tier 1 unit or a tier 2 unit, and then the other slots are going to be either tier 3, tier 4, or are going to be spells. So you really don't want him by himself, and you kind of have to play him by himself. So he gets held back by that. He's just not too good. So yeah, that's it. Uh, so I will definitely say that this game is a much better balance than it was before. Because while I do say this is a must pick, this is a must pick, with a game with only 6 characters, a third of them being must pick really isn't that bad. Because you're just gonna have a combination of you're gonna have uh essentially these two and then one of these, or these two, one of these. Uh, Or you can even do, Shaman, Scribe, Elementalist, and then the other team will do like Monk. So these are definitely really balanced. All four of these feel like good fleshed out characters. I just think these two lag a little bit behind because she's kind of just an ult bot, and Iron Sorcerer is just kind of there. Summons aren't that good right now, so he's just bad. I think it's always going to be the case with him. Either summons are good and he's good, or summons are bad and he's bad. But the spells feel pretty good. I think some of these new ones could use a little bit of work. They're just hard to justify right now. but these ones feel really good to use, and a lot of the units are viable. Like this is an actual tier list. Like these, I've played against many comps. I've even played against these who I rate badly, and they've done well. So there's a lot of more viable comps than there were last time, and there's just a lot more variety to the competitiveness. So I definitely think that this is a good direction. I hope they keep it up. But yeah, the game will come out the 26th, apparently. So I hope to see y'all there. Hope you enjoyed, and follow and like.